All right, guys, this is our first episode for Knights of Mustafar. Super excited, starting our very own podcast. My name is Darth Honor. Panda, introduce yourself.
My name is Dr. Panda, PhD.
Today, we're doing a movie review on the Rise of Skywalker, and it should be interesting. I got Doc Panda with me. Panda, you can say hi.
Hello. Oh, shoot, you said hi. I said hello. I'm so sorry. I messed it all up.
You're good. He's in Eastern Media GG with me, which if you guys didn't know, I'm a part of that. See my hat over here, looking nice. Panda, why don't you tell them your where they can find you on social media?
Yeah. I am at Dr._Panda on Twitter. I am Doc Panda PhD on Instagram. I am Dr. Panda PhD on Mixer because keeping it the same is overrated.
Very good. You got by the way, you have the perfect podcast voice.
That's what I've heard that a lot. People tell me that all the time.
Or the perfect radio voice.
Yeah, I get that a lot. I guess
hilarious.
that's why I started doing it. And we now take you to the smooth sounds of jazz.
Live from the crypt is Dr. Panda.
Hey!
Oh man, we should start a podcast. Okay,
I'm down. You heard it here first.
No, but
folks.
really? You really?
Oh, 100%. Really? Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah. All right, we'll talk about that.
All right.
Okay,
Spoiler.
So the Rise of Skywalker. So this came out in December, so a month ago, a little less than a month ago. Actually, it's exactly a month now. I think today's the 20th.
Yeah,
it's been exactly a month.
Oh shoot! Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so just to give you guys a little bit of frame of reference here, I usually see a Star Wars movie in theaters at least 4 or 5 times because I love Star Wars. This movie, except for the Solo movie, which we won't talk about because we know how I feel about that. This movie, just to give you an idea of how I felt about it, I saw it only once. And that is literally, that's it. So,
same.
Okay. So, but probably for a different reason.
Probably.
I apologize. I really wanted to love this movie, but it just all right. Let's okay. Complete overview. Panda, why don't you just give me just your first impressions of this movie? Right. Just
First
a nice broad stroke.
Out of all the ones to bring me in, you're bringing me in on the hardest one to review.
I know.
Oh man. All right. So it's gonna be hard to do broad because you kind of need to know my opinions on the other movies, but we'll
then give me it. Give me it.
All right, cool. So I don't know if you've seen this tweet. You probably have because I feel like you responded to it. My favorite Star Wars is Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, I remember. I like Revenge of the Sith. So
I love Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, and I get a lot on that. Now, I did not like the new movies. I hated
Last
Last
Jedi?
No, what the frick is the first one called? I'm
Force
forgetting
Awakens?
the names. That's how tired I am. Force Awakens. Duh. Yeah, I didn't like Force Awakens in theaters. I hated Last Jedi. I once said that it was the worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life. And then I saw this one.
Okay.
Now, my opinions have changed, which is really weird. So, in preparation for Rise of Skywalker, and obviously the classics are, they're up there. Like Empire is definitely my number 2. Like Empire's the freaking best. Anyway.
Yep.
So I've been trashing on Last Jedi since it came out. Now, I had a really bad movie theater experience with The Last Jedi, and I sort of think that's why I hated it so much. So I'm sitting in the theater. We went with my wife and my in-laws and my brother as well. And behind me is this dude who thinks he's the funniest dude on earth.
Oh, no.
He's not the funniest dude on earth. And he talks during the entire thing.
Right.
Making no sense. The whole time he's like, man, Disney's trying to make this funny. I don't understand. I'm like, dude, shut up. I was already annoyed. It was the first time I had ever seen The Room earlier that day. So I just got done with watching The Room and went straight to go see Star Wars. So I hated that movie. I had never seen it again until a month ago, in preparation for Rise of Skywalker. I went through every single one of them, and then my opinions start to change, which is weird because everybody knew me as the I hate the sequels, blah 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 blah. I'm never gonna go see another Star Wars in the theater again, and then I went at midnight, because you can't keep me away from Star Wars. So yeah, I think Rise of Skywalker was fun, but I know there's a lot of problems with it. So when I went into it, I'm like, I'm gonna see this because it's Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I've grown up with Star Wars. You know, pretty much everyone's opinions on Star Wars is what I have. But I was like, I'm not expecting anything crazy. I'm gonna come in for the fun, the lightsaber fights, and people getting shot with laser bolts. That's what I'm here for. So because I went in with that expectation, I think I liked it more than most people.
Okay.
As a movie, yeah, I get the issues, and if I let myself go down that rabbit hole, I think I would tear it apart. But I went in going, this is just I know it's Disney now. I know what it is. I'm just gonna have fun. What's dope is my friend rents out like a whole theater, so I'm just in a theater full of my friends.
Sick.
Right. So it can't not have fun. Like
that's a fair point. I feel like that would be a completely different experience.
Yeah. So that's why this experience was better for me than Last Jedi. Now I've since rewatched Last Jedi and my opinions have changed drastically. The biggest problems I have, and I've seen a lot of people talk about this, is it's like the torch being passed. There's just so many missteps between J.J. Abrams and Johnson, and then Abrams again. Like I'm sure I
think it's more Torinos than Abrams, so that's something I've been seeing a lot of confusion about.
Okay.
I think this current version that got passed through was more of a Torinos cut than Abrams, which is why I think there's like a trend to release the Abrams cut.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
But I'm still trying to figure out the clarification for that.
Yeah, it's almost like it's hard. There's like a clear misstep from it. You can see what it's trying to do, but it just doesn't get there.
Sure. But. No, I got you. My broad stroke, and I'm gonna try to keep it as broad as humanly possible, but just for like a refresher, I loved Force Awakens.
Yep.
I loved Last Jedi. Last Jedi, I think that's probably the one, aside from Rogue One, that I've seen the most. Rogue One is my favorite Star Wars movie because I'm military background, so I really
makes sense.
Yeah, really love that one. But Last Jedi is up there, of course. Classics. I'm a fan of. I actually really like the prequels, but that's probably because I grew up with them. So
me too.
Yeah, exactly. Except for Attack of the Clones, and I'm pretty sure I tear Attack of the Clones apart in episode 1 of Knights of Honor when I rank all of the movies with Ben.
I did watch that.
Yeah, so I haven't watched that in a while, but I might need to go back and see how bad I attacked Attack of the Clones and Solo, which I'm going to pretend like doesn't exist. But, so going into this movie, broad stroke, I got to try to keep it as broad as possible, and then we'll get into details. I was super excited. I knew, quote unquote, that it was going to have to end spectacularly. I won't say I went into it with like super high expectations because I try not to with movies anymore. But I knew I was going to get the things I wanted. So more Kylo Ren, who is my absolute favorite. More Rey, who I'm a big fan of. Yeah, just a little bit. I got him like back here and back there, and he's everywhere. More Rey, who I'm a big fan of, and I think a lot of people give Rey a little bit of a too hard of a time. But whatever. And then I like you said, I wanted some lightsaber fights. I wanted... I am a Reylo. I'm a hardcore Reyloer. So I really kind of wanted to see that progress. Overall, this movie was, to put it in perspective, I walked out of the theater. Actually, no. During movie, I think I rolled my eyes several times. And at one point I legitimately wanted to get up and leave. And then when I thought maybe I was just being too hard, so I tried to just maybe like enjoy it, and it didn't help. So by the time I left the movie, and I went to go see it with a couple of my buddies from work, who are also they're like the ones I go see all the Marvel movies with, all the Star Wars movies with. They all hated The Last Jedi and Force Awakens, unlike me. But when we walked out of the theater, they were just like laughing at how bad it was, and I literally looked depressed because I wanted to cry. And I'm not a crier, but I left and I was like, if I could cry right now, I would. 'Cause I was so disappointed. But okay, so let's run through let's run through this movie a little bit. And obviously I've only seen it once. I didn't go back and like read a synopsis on it because I want it to be I kind of wanted to maintain this like imprecise rundown of this movie, which I think is gonna make it more interesting. So the start of this movie, I don't even remember. I don't know. Do I even remember what happened in this movie?
How do you not remember the beginning? It should be your favorite part of all time.
Oh my god! I knew I should have seen it again, but I didn't
boy.
want to. Okay, listen. Kylo was probably the most was probably the most like real character in this movie. Like Adam Driver did a fantastic job. I'm a huge Adam Driver fan.
Killed it.
He did so great. No matter what BS they gave him, he killed it. His character felt the most real, but not the most consistent. Like somewhere in like around the 2/3 area of this movie. And Rey just felt so one-dimensional in this movie. It like really killed me because I'm a huge Rey fan. But sorry, we'll back up. So, Doc, because you clearly remember the beginning of this movie.
It's like the only thing I remember because it's Kylo in the beginning killing that planet, stabbing people.
Oh yeah, he's going on a rampage.
Yeah.
That's a great scene from the trailer.
So good.
But you know what? I'm just gonna run through some of my thoughts. Remember, I'm gonna do a character base because I clearly can't remember what the hell happened in this movie. Which
I'm gonna try to pull up the timeline. Honestly, it's probably for the best.
Which says something. Yeah, exactly. So I'll start with the positive because it's only gonna go down from there. So Kylo Ren. Doc, I know you're also a fan of Kylo Ren a bit.
Yeah. I mean, we stand Vader over here for sure. But
oh hell yeah.
I like Ren.
Okay.
All right. I've turned to. Maybe we'll dive in deeper on my feelings because I'm in a weird place. Like I said, I started hating these. I was like, Kylo Ren is a whiny piece of crap, and I can't stand him.
That's such a one-dimensional review of his character.
I know.
A lot of people, most people were like that though, so I 100% understand. Yeah, young Panda. Okay. Oh. That's hilarious. No, I totally get that. A lot of people were like that, and I think since then, most people are still like a lot of people are still like that. But like, you gotta look at the evolution of his character. Like, he starts off acting out a little bit like not really an immature, but kind of immature, but not like in not like in a bad way, but like as in a can't control his anger sort of way in The Force Awakens. That was very obvious in that movie, and I agree. A lot of people kind of saw him as was like maybe childish because he couldn't control his anger, but we gotta think about the Sith. That's kind of their MO. It doesn't make them immature, that just makes them uncontrollable, which is what makes them kind of them, right? So Kylo just, and I think this is why he's probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite Sith, or Darksider. I don't know if he's technically a Sith, but whatever.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, with the reveal, kind of could be. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I don't know. So that's definitely a question that I've had that I've been like pondering about. But it's man, I don't know. But like here's the thing about Kylo Ren that I love. He's like his grandfather. His grandfather had anger problems, right? So he's just following in like the Skywalker footsteps. Maybe not the like good ones, but like the ones I relate to.
Well, no, I mean even Luke had anger issues. They touched on that even in what's the freaking Return of the Jedi. I can't remember titles.
It's okay. Hey, they showed like a tiny bit of it in The Last Jedi too when he was trying to deal with Kylo. So like it runs in the family, especially in the male side of the family. So like it makes sense. I think they played it out really well. I actually like the fact that he can control himself to the point of like breaking shit because hello, that's kind of me. When I get angry at a video game, I bang my controller against the desk, so I kind of relate.
Or smash your Kylo Ren helmet, paste it together with red paint.
Right, exactly. But Kylo Ren for me was like super strong up until like 2/3 through the movie. So I don't entirely understand what his like conflict with Rey was. Like I get it, but it didn't really pull all the way through for me. It's like they just were fighting just to fight. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
the depth of that conflict didn't sit well with me because I don't think it existed. Um, but the part where I felt not it's kind of hard to explain, but like a little bit of inconsistency is when they redeem him. It's not his fault. It's not Kylo's fault. But what I didn't like was the fact that it didn't make sense and it was very unclear, like what happened to Leia in order for him to get redeemed. Like what do you think happened? Because I've got about 6 different theories and none of them fit perfectly.
Yeah,
It wasn't clear.
the thing is, I don't envy them at all for having to work with that. You know, after Carrie Fisher passing, that's a hard thing to do. They made, and then as soon as that happened, and after Last Jedi, I was like, I don't know how they're gonna do this because it's like they set her up as such an important character, and now you can't really have her. You can CGI her. It's hard. So specifically with the Leia, I Force Ghost, I guess. I don't know. Like I said, I tried not to dive too deep into it because I wouldn't enjoy it if I did.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna dive deep into it.
All right,
so
you're gonna make me hate it. I'm ready. Let's go.
The dark side.
All right.
Oh man, no. So no. Sorry. Go ahead.
So you're saying what I think specifically happened with Leia to turn him?
Or do you have like theory? Like how many theories do you have? I think the fact that it wasn't unclear for like anybody is also not good. It's not good directing. That people don't know what the fuck happened.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you want to take it in order because I have theories about other stuff too. But like, yeah, with that, I don't know. I guess gone into the Force is the only thing I can really think of because her last thing was she calls out to him. If I remember correctly, I think she says his name, right? I think she says Ben.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
So, I mean, the thing is, they've touched on it since the beginning that there's conflict in Kylo, right? So it's
of
like
course.
you knew
Always
obviously that that's going to happen at some point. But I don't know. I felt weird about it because it was like, to me, when he killed Han, that made him irredeemable, right?
Right. Okay. I'm so glad you're on that page because I have also felt that way. And I was like, I don't want him to get redeemed in this 3rd movie. But if they do redeem him, it better be believable.
Right. Like Vader.
Yeah, like even though he can't kill his mom, like he still killed your dad, unless he didn't kill his dad, which is a whole different theory for a whole
different conspiracy video. On that?
Oh yes, and I actually think I might buy it, but no, sorry.
All right. Yeah, so yeah, that struggled with me because it's like, you know, he's irredeemable at that point. And then when in Last Jedi with that whole scene, I just rewatched that the other day, you know, where he kills Snoke, then it's like, okay, now you can't. He kills him and then he becomes Supreme Leader. And when Rey offers a hand to him, he doesn't do it. So why, after all these chances, is he not redeemed until this point? I don't know.
And I think the worst part is I think they're like, man, I don't. So there's a couple problems with this like one scene with them on what is
Exegol?
Planet are they on? Is that Exegol? I thought Exegol was the planet where
that's where Palpatine is. What scene are you talking about?
I didn't connect that those two scenes are the same planet.
Oh, like the ending?
That's my problem. Yeah.
Yeah, they're on Exegol.
Okay.
Yeah, because they go back.
No. I'm talking about the one where on the Death Star. Is that Jakku?
Oh no, not Jakku. No, it's a Endor moon, or it's Endor itself because that's where
That's right. Okay. See the confusion. There was no cards on where
that is
was. Oh my God. Okay, so so that scene with them fighting again, I'm not gonna kind of touch on how like the fighting between the two of them didn't I don't think it came through for me that well on this one as much as it did on the previous one. But like when we get to the point where Leia calls out to him, and then he gets distracted just enough for Rey to get a lightsaber in him. Like first of all, I'm pretty sure that kills you. We're just like right when it goes in the middle there.
Well, I think they established that right, that he died and that she brought him back. I mean, isn't that the thing?
Is that the theory? Because that's one of the many theories I have.
Because I've seen that picture a lot with and I've seen I think I sent you the video where that happens and then it goes to Anakin with Padme and it's like, I wasn't aware that was a thing a person could do.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. No, I think so. Maybe he's just so strong with the Force, like he can survive it just for like a little bit before he straight dies. Because everybody else that can stab with a lightsaber dies as soon as they get poked with it. So, or they lose a limb. I don't know. Unless you're Darth Maul, then you can survive that apparently.
Yeah, don't get me started on that.
Yeah, another movie. Or so we'll save that for the podcast.
Yeah, there we go.
Actually, we could make this our first podcast too. Oh,
you can't see me, but I'm shrugging.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Okay, fast forward. So Leia. Okay, first of all, I'll get to Leia a little bit more because apparently they had a lot more actual footage of Leia that they could have put in the movie. I think I read in a couple articles, but
it's such a hard thing to do though, because it's like, how do you do that and stay respectful?
I agree, but I think what they chose to do with her, I think that wasn't the right move because I think it's a little bit of a disrespect to her power.
Yeah.
Because remember the scene where her and Luke are training, which by the way, that scene came out of nowhere and I fucking loved it. That was one of the best scenes.
Yeah.
And it didn't it was so good.
I fangirled a little bit at that point. I was like, yo, to see them like training and it's CGI to look like young them. Oh man, I love that scene. That was a good scene. It
didn't look that bad. It actually looked like a video game a little bit, like a really, really quality video game, like maybe like a Battlefront. So like I bought it. Obviously that's still something that they're working on. Whatever, but it looked, oh my god, it looked so good. And then I think they hinted at a little bit in that clip that Leia might be a little bit more powerful than Luke, which I'm all for. I am a huge Leia fan. Like in this house, Leia is the most powerful.
Look at any of the things with Leia. How many times did she save those jokers? Like,
she's Hermione Granger,
right?
But of Star Wars. Right.
Well, my favorite thing is Death Star and Trash Compactor. They're all just shooting nothing. They're just messing around, and she's like, "Give me the freaking gun! Like, can we do something here? Like, what are you jokers doing?" That was like my favorite thing. Mark Hamill tweeted something not too long ago, where he was like, I can't remember what he said, but somebody said something about Leia, and he was like, "I don't think there would be a Star Wars movie without Leia," and he just took some pictures of just all the times where she saves him. Yeah.
Oh, man, I love Mark Hamill. He's so real.
And Carrie Fisher is my celebrity crush. So
I mean, mine too.
Yeah,
like
that's fine.
I think she's everybody's.
Yeah, no, 100%. But like, my wife and I always do these things where we have like, I don't want to say old people crushes, but old people crushes because we're Carrie Fisher's mine, and hers is Hugh Jackman.
That's a good one though.
So yeah, a little bit
I'm more
closer.
of a Harrison Ford type.
Yeah, she's
I also love.
She's into Harrison Ford too.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. He's my favorite actor of all time.
Yeah.
Okay. So back to Leia.
Yeah.
So
got distracted.
No, it's all good. So she dies, quote unquote, and this is conspiracy because I don't really know what exactly happened, but she dies trying to help Ben or trying to help Rey kill Ben, which also doesn't seem right.
Yeah, I don't.
Because that's one of the sides, but the other side is she's trying to call to Ben to maybe help pull him towards her / the light side.
Right.
And that's what distracts him. Like, those are just two of my ideas of what happened. But either way, like, it just doesn't feel right, because one of the things that bothers me about the scene is, why does that kill her? Like, she doesn't just like pop up like Luke does and like battle Kylo and that
Yeah.
kills her.
And I mean, that
She
was
just
out.
calls out to him.
Right. That's what I was gonna say was, what Luke did similarly, but I
Yeah, it
mean,
was
here's the
very
thing.
unauthentic.
But anytime that's happened, it's been their time. Their circle is complete, right? So I think that's what they were
Sure.
going for. Like, she completed the
Yeah.
last thing that she needed to do was to redeem Ben Solo.
Like, I get that. And I think so maybe what the problem was is they didn't have, before she passed away, R.I.P. Carrie Fisher. Before she passed away, maybe they just didn't have like the right footage to
Right.
complete that scene.
Mhm.
Which is, this is why we got what we got.
Yeah.
But
I
I
feel
mean,
like I
would
have
been
to. Sorry, go ahead.
I think I would have preferred her go like Obi-Wan did, more than like this, because it just, I don't know. I think it hurt her power, and she wouldn't call it
Yeah.
power, but it made her look weak in like respect to Luke, who tried to do the same thing, but I think I would have seen it. I would have preferred her just say like, "It's my time and I'm going, but I'll always be with you," and then she just disappears into ether. That would have been cool, actually.
Yeah.
I would have been cool with that.
Yeah, I don't envy them. I feel like I have to give them a little bit of a pass because that's hard to put together. Like, I'm sure there was
Yeah,
a
no, I agree.
lot of infighting about what to do with that. So I think they did the
Yeah.
best that they could. Yeah, they could have done better with it. I don't know. It's
Yes.
really hard for me. But I feel like if you look at it from that perspective, where her story is complete, and that she's going on, I feel like that's the only way I can justify it.
No, I
But
agree.
I don't think they made that very apparent. But I don't envy that job at all to make those decisions on that. Like, that's hard.
I think and I know what they said, and I know that they said that they didn't want to CGI Carrie Fisher in her current age, but
Right.
obviously they didn't have a problem with her younger, which I totally agree with. That's perfectly fine. I feel like it could have been polished a little bit better. At least make it more clear as to what's going on in that scene. And maybe I would have accepted it more.
Right.
Maybe. But okay, you have a timeline, so let's scoot back. I'll probably move this behind, whatever. Let's go back to the beginning.
Okay. I'm trying to see if I can find like a list of everything, but it's very hard for me to find. But all I remember, so the very beginning scene is Kylo fighting all those dudes in that unnamed planet. That was actually pretty dope. Because he's trying to find what did they even call it? The beacon?
The Wayfinder?
The Wayfinder. That was it.
Yep.
Yeah. So trying to get the
Which
Wayfinder.
looks just like a holocron, by the
Right,
way. So
right.
that was also confusing.
Yeah. Yep.
I didn't like that. The Wayfinder. I didn't like it. I don't like it. They could have just so this might be diving a little deep into geekery, but like why couldn't they have just made it a holocron, which is what it has been in every other Star Wars? And then say that the holocron holds the location.
But it's
Because it has all
locked
that
or
knowledge.
something. I mean, that's the problem. I think the thing that they needed to do is make it so difficult to get there, right? Because otherwise you don't have the movie, because the entire movie basically is Rey trying to crack the code to get into the Wayfinder to get get the Emperor.
But you've seen Rebels, right?
No.
Okay. So in Rebels,
I'm working on it right
they
now,
have it's so good.
I'm going through Clone
Like,
Wars
100%
first,
recommend.
though.
Ooh, I would have watched Rebels first and then
Really?
Clone Wars.
Oh,
It's a lot shorter and it's a lot better.
Yeah, but I feel like I gotta go in order,
I didn't. Also,
Okay.
if you wait, they're gonna come out with the new season of Clone Wars.
Right,
on
that's why I
Disney
was
Plus
trying to catch up
anyways.
with Clone Wars.
Yeah, I would watch the Rebels first. My own personal opinion. Especially since I think like the first 3 seasons of Clone Wars are a little hard to get through. Anyways, so in Rebels, I think it's the last season. It's either the 3rd or 4th season. Ezra's kind of the main character who's like getting pulled to the dark side.
Right.
He's like a teen, I think. They have a pair of holocrons, and one holds dark side information, and one holds light side information.
Mhm.
And put together, they're just so powerful. So my thinking was, you already have that in canon. Why don't you just make it so he's trying to find the dark side holocron, which holds the knowledge of the location of Exegol, and then Rey is trying to find the light side holocron,
right,
which has the same information for a different purpose. She can defeat whoever's on Exegol. And then maybe even more interestingly enough, they only hold pieces of the information separately, but when they're put together, they can find it. Like it tells you exactly where it is.
Yeah.
I feel like that isn't canon. Probably would have made more sense, more interesting, my personal opinion, because that definitely would have brought the two of them together.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit early in the movie, which I personally, again, I'm a Reyloer. I stand Reylo. I will die for Reylo. I think
Kylo.
Don't get me started on that. I'm saving that for the end. I'm about to get angry. Okay.
I saw a shot and I had to take it.
I'm getting all warm. Okay. I think that would have been a little bit better.
Yeah.
The Wayfinder like looked cool, but it's just a holocron.
Yeah.
But different.
Right.
That's my personal opinion.
So here's what I found. This is the closest thing I can find to an actual list. It shows you how many people care enough to tear this movie into exactly the timeline. But here we are. So following a threat of revenge by the revived Emperor Palpatine, Kylo Ren obtains a Sith Wayfinder, not a holocron, leading him to the uncharted planet Exegol. There he finds Palpatine, who reveals that he created Snoke as a puppet to control the First Order and lure Kylo to the dark side.
Okay. Let's anchor on that.
Yep.
I'm going to let you give me your thoughts on Palpatine being back, Snoke being a clone, and that entire setup there. Because I could probably anchor down on that for like a bit.
Oh, me too. You want me to start with the good or the bad?
This is a dark side review for me, but you give me whatever you want.
I'll start with the bad then, and then I'll end on the light note on what I liked.
All right, let's do it.
I just established I'm a huge Darth Vader. Anakin Skywalker is my boy. As I complained about whiny Kylo Ren being whiny earlier.
Anakin's way more whiny, by the way.
Oh, I know. I accept it. But anyway, so the thing that I didn't like. Now I love the Emperor. The Emperor is a character. Like I've been talking to you. I just finished Darth Plagueis, the book. Like.
Great book.
Love that book.
We'll definitely do an episode on that book because I really badly want to do episodes on Star Wars books, and that was one of the best books I have read in the Star Wars saga, and I've read most of the canon books, so I haven't read a lot of Legends books, but
yeah. So like
go ahead.
Love Palpatine.
Yes.
I like that he's back. I like that we get to see him again. That's dope.
Okay.
But the fact that he survives, it just nullifies the whole. Anakin brought balance to the Force. Say what you will about him, but the story was complete. He throws the Emperor down a mine shaft, whatever the heck that was, and
mine shaft.
Whatever.
This is Minecraft. Why not?
Minecraft. He throws him into Minecraft. The Emperor gets blown up by a creeper. That's what those blue explosions were like. Star Wars predicted Minecraft, everyone.
Oh my
god. So that's what I struggled with. You're cheapening it. It was almost like it almost was like, Abrams had this whole setup. All right, here you go. Rian Johnson goes, I don't like Snoke. Boom. And then Kylo Ren is now the villain. I dig that.
Yeah.
And then Abrams is like, Emperor. Like, let's just shove him in. They're like, they say what you will. I know it's not necessarily Abrams, but just because I don't have anyone else to blame.
No, I got you.
Just shove the Emperor in there. So it sort of felt like he was just shoved in there. I thought he killed it. I love Ian McDermott. Oh my gosh. Like I could tell you stories about, I have friends that have met him and stuff like that. He's like the nicest guy on the planet. So cool. But anyway.
He looks like it. I can buy that.
Oh man. Yeah. So ending on what I liked, that scene where he's coming down and the Emperor's like, I have been every voice inside your head, and it like changes into Vader and stuff like that. That scene to me
was pretty sick.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. But yeah, I don't love that he's back. I liked that it was new. I would have even liked if Kylo just became the Emperor. Maybe they redeem him at the end, but if I would have even been fine with him being the main villain.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's what they were setting up at the end of Last Jedi. You know,
Yeah,
he's
no,
Supreme
I
Leader of the
agree.
First Order now. So like, yeah, I don't know. It's hard because I feel like the fan reactions were so strong during Last Jedi that Disney sort of went, crap, we gotta appease them, but they didn't like this and they didn't like that, and it's just, you're all over the place now. It's just so disconnected. I feel like if they had sat down and had at least the 3 movies roadmapped, like clearly they, when they were making Force Awakens, they had no idea what they were doing for the next 2. I mean, that's
Right.
pretty obvious. So
Yeah.
I feel like if
They
you
did
at
not
least
storyboard this
roadmap it-
from the very beginning,
Right.
which was a problem.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing for it, and I think it would have been better. But the thing is, what, $6 billion? So whatever, like, doesn't matter. It made $6 million. So yeah, it's hard. Like, I mean, every review you're gonna see on this is pretty much it's negative. But it made $6 million. So it's like,
I mean, to be fair, I try not to like pay attention to reviews because I feel like 90% of the time they purposely pick the exact opposite of what I felt.
no, I agree. Yeah.
But I think, yeah. Sorry. Did you have more on Palpatine? Because I'm a big. I like Palpatine too.
I definitely have more, but not really in this specific scene. So I give you the torch. Okay. I give you the Luke lightsaber for you to hurl off the cliff.
Okay. So Palpatine should not have been in this movie.
I agree.
Period. And if he was going to be, they needed to set him up in Episode 8. The fact that the directors between Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and T-Ross couldn't get their shit together and at least blend the fucking 3 together drives me crazy. Like, yeah. This is I understand you're trying to make your Star Wars, and like but you guys gotta talk to each other. Like, this is just, okay, Kathleen Kennedy is my hero. Mm-hmm. I love that woman, but Kathleen, there's just, come on, help me here. Like, it's just so like, ironically, I think everything aside from the like Sith like hierarchy is actually borderline consistent, or at least it tries to hold to that kind of consistency. But like, for me, the most important part, the most interesting part is the dark side, like I guess lineage here in the 3 movies, and it's just so, it makes no sense. It looks like they were just throwing the next dark side they could think of up on the board.
Right.
I didn't like Snoke. I think he was, I know everybody wanted to think he was Darth Plagueis because he kind of looked like him, I guess, from a book cover like art work.
I would have been fine with that. Like, if he had like stolen a body or something.
Well, I mean, like, so I didn't mind that idea. I didn't think he was Darth Plagueis, especially, like, I had a couple ideas from The Last Jedi when Kylo and Rey killed him and I like to say the 2 of them together because whatever. But when they killed him, quote unquote, so easily, I was like, if this is Plagueis, then A, he's not dead. He's got bigger plans, or he can just like pull himself together because he's so strong with the dark side.
Right.
Which would have made sense. That would have 100% made sense because you got Luke on the light side, you got Leia on the light side. Somebody needs to be so friggin' powerful on the dark side.
Right.
And if it was Snoke, okay. Like, I wasn't crazy about him, but I would buy it 100%. But he died way too easily, and I was like, this is not right. It's either he's because he looks like he should be an emperor. You know what I mean? He had that aesthetic. And I guess he kind of talked like an emperor. So, I mean, obviously he was, but he clearly wasn't the power player, which that's what they try. Like, that's what Abrams / Trinos or whatever was trying to do in episode 9. Right. I didn't get any of it. Yeah. Like, they wanted it to be like a spoiler or kind of like a big surprise that Emperor Palpatine is back in episode 9, but none of that was established in the previous ones. It actually felt like trying to bring Darth Maul back after he was dead. That's exactly what it felt like.
Yeah.
and give them this huge arc.
It's just
Except
fan servicey. That's what it felt like. I mean, I
you know
loved it.
what?
I loved the Emperor. I loved seeing him again. But yeah, like
That's the thing is like there's one it's like one thing to do fan service and it's another to just like you just they went too far.
yeah. And I mean, going back from the original, the prequels to the original, and what I was hitting on about Anakin, the whole thing about him being the chosen one to bring balance to the Force. He did that. So
Yeah.
but now
Yeah.
did he? So it sucks because it almost undoes everything you already knew.
Right?
So if it was
Unravels all of that.
right, like if it was a different villain, if it was Plagueis coming back, if it was Snoke, what was actually the evil guy to begin with, like I feel like it would have been different because the Force has been balanced and then it's rising again, and that gives Rey a legitimate story. Where
Exactly.
Rey's almost just the cleanup crew for everyone else's the past however many years of Star Wars, So it's like that's what sucked
It
for
feels
me.
it feels like it nullifies the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, and it's like I get you want to make your own Star Wars and stuff like that, but then when you start messing with the previous canons and stuff like that, that's when I have a problem.
Yeah, I agree. That's what Solo felt like to me. It felt
Yeah.
like it ruined the authenticity of Han Solo. But I 100% agree. And I think I tried to look past the fact that they were bringing Palpatine back because remember the first trailer that they had with Palpatine's voice in the back and everybody's like, is he coming back? Like whatever. And I was like, God, I hope not. Like, but even though that like 100% was like a definitive yes, he's coming back to like most people, I didn't believe it until he showed up on stage at May the 4th celebration or Star Wars celebration. I was like, well, I guess that's official that he's back. And I just, if they really badly wanted to bring back Palpatine, which again I 100% don't agree with, it just doesn't make any sense, especially to bring him back in the very last movie of 9 movies, or after he's been gone for like 3 movies.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do that, then I want to see some like flashbacks, of him being the one. Like it would have been so easy, just him like talking through Palpatine, some sort of flashback. Like you 100% do that because there's been plenty of them in these movies already.
Yeah.
It would have been so easy to do.
Like you could have had him talking to a young Snoke if you didn't make Snoke a clone, right? Like Snoke could have been a secret apprentice or something, right?
Yes.
If they didn't do the route that they did, and then you could have seen like they could have done some really cool parallel shots with like the Emperor talking to Snoke grabbing Kylo, etc., etc. Yeah.
Or they could have had Snoke be his apprentice after Vader,
right?
Like while like the entire time between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens, he was grooming Snoke. I mean, the fact that there's no background, they just like shoehorned him in as a clone. Which, by the way, I could probably go on for 15 minutes, but I'm gonna give you the like short version of this. No.
Yeah.
There. No. Doesn't. No. No. And no. Just why? I honestly don't understand this. I think the least Star Warsy part of this movie to me was actually that scene where Kylo finally gets to Exegol the first time. Sees Palpatine on a fucking crane.
Yeah.
No, it felt like. Have you seen the Assassin's Creed movie?
Yeah. Oh no, I haven't actually. I've only played the games.
Okay. In the movie, the dude gets like hurled around in the air on a crane, and that's like how you need to see a clip of it because it's absolutely hilarious.
I saw
the movie was
somebody
actually really good.
I saw somebody
like,
on one of those pool lifts for like handicapped to dip you in the pool. Those,
yeah.
Like, crane. I saw somebody like on that, and it like flipped over, and he goes, "Long have I waited." It was so good.
Oh
I gotta
God.
find it. It was so funny.
or like he was getting plugged into the Matrix. Like in the Assassin's Creed, he literally gets like every move that he's doing, like all the parkour and stuff in like the world in like the past or however you want to explain
Right.
it,
Yeah.
he's on a crane. So like when he's parkouring and stuff, the crane is what is moving him or whatever.
Right.
That's what it felt like, except it's it's his wheelchair.
So
That's what it
Palpatine is
is.
an
It's
assassin.
Palpatine's wheelchair. Yeah. Well, sort of, I guess. But that just felt so un-Star Warsy
Yeah.
to me, if that's a word. That part,
That's a word now.
holding a clone tube, like just a tube of Snoke's, was just that killed it for me. I was like, I literally wanted to laugh so hard. I was like, what the fuck is this? Are they growing?
Why can't I hold
Snokes?
all these Snokes?
And why is he so old? If he's growing, I don't get it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Like you have the cloning technology established with your all-time favorite movie, Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
So you have that stuff on there where the whatever the heck Kaminoans. God, I don't know how to say that. So like
Close
that's
enough,
already
I think.
established and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I get if you want to go the clone route, but
that wasn't the way to do it. I don't think that just didn't feel. Well, I think I just have a problem with the idea of cloning Snoke.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, are they cloning Snoke, or is he saying that clone is a Snoke of him? Like that was never really established, was it?
I know.
Like,
More unclear story writing here, I think, because I didn't even think about that. I thought it was just him growing Snokes, like either cloning them or growing them through like the power of the Force, which it is canon, by the way, that he manipulated the midichlorians in Shmi Skywalker to grow Anakin Skywalker. So that is definitely a possibility. But it, again, unclear, no explanation. Just I think that was probably that was the part that felt most like I was watching a different movie.
Yeah.
And like I was watching or reading a fan fiction. That's what it felt like. Is this movie in general felt like I was reading fan fiction, but that scene in particular just really pulled me out.
Like everything
Star
I'm
Wars.
reading right now about Snoke just says he was created as a puppet. So I guess he's sort of his own.
Fine.
He's his own life form, but he was created.
That's fine. But again, I think it would have pulled everything together just a tiny bit if they had literally a flashback of Palpatine talking through Snoke while he's talking to Kylo. Like, I just, or even like a scene of Palpatine talking to Kylo when he's turning away from Skywalker, Luke's like school of Jedi. Like, right. There needed some connection there for you to like. For me to be able to even partially believe in that.
Yeah, and the other thing
wasn't there.
The other thing I would have liked to see is, they talk a lot about, it's proceeding as I have foreseen. The Emperor foresees all this stuff. So how did he not foresee that he was going to die? He had to have. And this sort of hints that he did. So why wouldn't he have a contingency plan for when he died? Now, I get
he did. He's got 2 more clones of him, I guess.
Yeah, I guess this is the contingency plan. But I would have liked to see it, he had already been secretly training another apprentice, because that's what he did with, think of Maul to Dooku. Yeah. He had a contingency plan. Think of Dooku to Anakin. He had a contingency plan on who's, and I know the Plagueis novel is now Legends, but he was training Maul, preparing to overthrow.
Part of it isn't canon.
Right. So he's planning to overthrow Plagueis anyway. Like that part's definitely canon. So like, why wouldn't you just Snoke could have been a secret apprentice, right? Where he has a feeling because he knows that there's light still in Anakin if this happens, or even because he's telling Luke to strike him down too. So I don't know. I feel like if you had done it that way, you had the contingency plan being Snoke as a secret apprentice who then becomes, the supreme leader of the First Order and that whole thing. I feel like it would have been better.
I think that would have been perfect.
It would have been nice to just have a new villain. Why are we stuck with the same guy? I love Palpatine, and we've said this like 50,000 times, so I feel like we don't need to keep saying it. But Palpatine's time, I feel like, ended. And I feel like if you want to have him in this movie, you have him in those flashbacks. You have him as a Sith Force ghost, maybe. I don't know. Manipulating things. But I feel like you gotta have a main villain, and Snoke could have been that. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of him in like Force Awakens. Seeing him, I'm like, I don't get this guy. And then you just
he grew on me a little bit in episode 8. At least he was filling out a little bit more.
Yeah, like I mean, that scene was great where he's like in the throne room and he come closer and he brings her like that. You could have done a lot more.
Yeah,
so...
I 100% agree. I agree. I think had they established that kind of relationship between like Master of Two, between him and Palpatine, that would have 100%. I think I would have bought that in this movie.
Or if you're gonna
but
do
Palpatine
what you
should have still been dead.
Yes. Yes. He should have been like manipulating through the other side of the Force or something like that, if that's how you're gonna do it.
He could have been a Force ghost. Like, why are there only light side Force ghosts?
I mean, I'm fine with that. I would have accepted that more than freaking I got a whole pile of Snokes here. Here they are standing in a row. Like freaking
I'll just pull them out of the factory.
Here we go. You want a Snoke? I got a diet Snoke. I got a raspberry flavored Snoke. Hashtag raspberry flavored Snoke.
I'm gonna 100% trend that.
Hashtag raspberry flavored Snoke. Shoot, I was gonna say something though. I'm trying not to lose it, but raspberry flavored Snoke is just distracting me.
Oh my!
Oh
God.
No!
I'm gonna, if we do a podcast, which I 100% legitimately want to do, that's what the first episode is called.
Raspberry flavored Snoke. Done.
Flavored Snoke.
No, I remember what I was gonna say. Or if you end with Last Jedi, you had Kylo kill him. Commit to that.
Yes.
Kylo's now supreme leader. So even Kylo getting an apprentice, I would be down with.
Sick.
And even if Kylo switches in the end and you know redeems himself, I'm cool with that. And then you could even have like the apprentice kill him or something like that. You know, like the apprentice could have been so deep into the dark side.
Like, yeah, you know what? I didn't even think about Kylo getting an apprentice. I think that's kind of like he had his like entourage with the Knights of Ren, which is fine. I think why did we wait 3 movies to get the Knights of Ren all for him to for them to show up in the background in a couple scenes and then for him to absolutely destroy them. Like that scene was one of the sickest scenes. But like you saw the video.
I
had no personality. Right? Yes. Who were they? We still don't know who they were. They didn't tell us anything.
Yeah.
Oh my God. By the way, I sent that video to like one of my best friends who I write with. And she went and showed it to people at work. And she said, she keeps watching it. It's so funny.
I've seen it probably 7 times. I showed it to my wife who's not even seen Rise of Skywalker because she was done after 8. But
fair enough.
Yeah, I think she'll watch it probably when it comes out. But yeah, I showed it to her. She was dying. She was like, oh my gosh, I've never even seen this and this fits so well. This is the only thing I need to see
it again.
So after this, because I don't know if we clarified it for those of you wondering what video we're talking about. It's the scene at the end with Kylo going through and going to save Rey and all that, and it's done to I Need a Hero.
I need a hero. Oh my God.
Oh, going back to Last Jedi, can I tell you how long I've been waiting for someone to stick a dang lightsaber to someone's head and just turn it on and off? Like, why did it take us that long? I loved that. It sounds sadistic. But like,
no,
like
it doesn't.
Why wouldn't you do
You're
that?
Talking to the right person. That was awesome.
Why has that never been done before? Just like like a switchblade. I think this
one was supposed to be the like darker, a little bit darker. I think they were trying to play with how dark they could get it for it being a Disney movie. But that scene was great.
And then the fire and everything like that around the they could have done that. Yeah, well, here's the thing. Like, I've completely we could do a whole episode on me with Last Jedi and how I've turned on that. Like, so I feel like we gotta now
do a light side review on that.
Yeah, I feel like we gotta hit now. If you're okay with me guiding this because this is the biggest, my biggest issue with this.
Yes.
Rey's lineage.
Okay, good. Because there's 2 of my. Okay, I have a lot of problems with this movie, but the 2 that I fight people on is Rey and Kylo. We'll do Rey next, and then we're gonna end on Kylo because I'm gonna start screaming. Rey's lineage. So I think we both agreed we like Palpatine, but not in this movie. Correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Rey.
I mean,
I'm just gonna throw.
I like the scenes. I thought Ian McDiarmid did an amazing job. I love him as an actor. I loved those scenes, but him fitting in there,
absolutely.
Yes.
Just because something is good doesn't mean you should force it. Like Ewan McGregor getting a trilogy. Just because we love Obi-Wan Kenobi, no. Also, just because we love Han Solo doesn't mean that we should have a Solo movie. Like, I 100% agree. Do not force something if we don't. What was that?
I said I'm kind of excited for the Kenobi series.
Like, here's the thing. I love Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi, but we do not need a series. We don't need anything else on him. His story is done. What do we not already know about Obi-Wan Kenobi? Unless you have him as like a little Padawan, like that'd be cute. The Adventures of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like,
he's more Old Republic
stuff. Do we need it?
I need more Old Republic canon stuff. But yeah, that's going on.
That's also 100% another video because I could go on about that forever. But so here's I'm just gonna keep it brief for Rey. Palpatine shouldn't have been in it, but even if he is, Rey, like the part that I loved about Rey's story in episodes 7 and 8 was that she came from nobody.
Yes.
Okay? And like, here's the part that really bothers me is, everybody, I don't know what everybody's problem with Star Wars being a Disney movie is, because guess what? It happened. They're still good, except for this last one, my personal opinion. Disney's doing fine with Star Wars, and they're making a shit ton of money, so you can shut the fuck up.
And
okay? Get over
it. Who doesn't want to go build a freaking lightsaber at Disneyland? I'm going in October, and I'm so freaking excited.
Why are people complaining? Why are people complaining? But like, okay, here it is. It was saying so much that you can be somebody without coming from somebody. I loved that concept. Yep. And that was the whole thing about like Star Wars is like all these people are so powerful because they come from a powerful family. Like, it's just so elitist. Yeah. Why can't you have Rey come from Jakku with parents that didn't love her, didn't care for her, didn't want her, and her grow up to be a powerful Jedi? Like, that just like that's a pure Disney like thing, right? And it's just it's a very positive message. Why is she a Palpatine? I don't. Just ruined her story. Yeah, 100% ruined her story.
I mean, here's the thing for me. It's not that, why didn't they? They did. It was established, and then you changed it.
Like 3 times.
Oh, we didn't say anything about her grandfather. No.
No, I love how they tried to get Kylo to explain this to her. No, I didn't lie. Your parents were nobodies. Yeah. Because they chose to be. What?
Yeah. And then it's like, it's funny because it almost reminds me of when they were, when they made the changes to, Vader being Luke's father and stuff like that. And then he going, why didn't you tell me? And then Ben shows up again. He died and became Vader. And yeah, I'm okay with that. But that's sort of what it felt like to me. It just felt so retconned in here. Here's a
that 100% ruined Rey's entire story for me. Yeah. Like, just keep her nobody. She doesn't need to be a Palpatine. I loved that she was a nobody. She has no last name. She's just Rey. Just like Rey's just fine. Yeah. Just call her Rey.
That's what made it. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm hacking up a lung because of Rey.
You're good.
No, that's what made it so. And I didn't really think about it that way, right? I had written The Last Jedi off because I had such a terrible time in the theater. But I touched base with, I was talking to one of my really good friends, the guy who rents out the movie theater and stuff like that, Brian. He's super awesome. You should check him out. He does artwork and stuff like that. He's also working on a super awesome Star Wars style commission for me, so stay tuned for that. But anyway, I'll tell you what it is after this when we're not on air.
Oh yeah.
So, shoot, what was I even saying? I keep doing this. Oh, so he really loved hitting on the point where it doesn't matter where you came from, and I hadn't really thought about that, and that's what made The Last Jedi a better movie for me in post after I went back to it. It's like that says it all. I mean, that's the whole thing, and that's what they're trying to do with the character. I feel like in general, and you just ruined it. It's like, I mean, when I see the young the girls dressed like Rey at Disney and stuff like that, like it doesn't matter. It just I don't know.
Now you want to tell those little girls, oh, by the way, you come from an evil family,
right?
What have you done?
Right.
What? What?
I mean, okay,
like
I get what they're trying to do. I like the story of it doesn't matter where your family is, you can still be one side or the other, where she redeems herself and she's still a Jedi no matter what her lineage is. Yes, whatever. But you already established it. It's already done.
Yeah.
If you wanted to do that, then do that in 8. Start doing that in 8.
Or at least hint at that, but it's very clear that they already had her done and then they flipped it on its head in the last one to make her fit their story.
My favorite picture is there's the picture where it's and yeah, say what you will about whose fault it is with director wise, but it's Abrams handing the lightsaber to Rian Johnson, who throws it. And it's Snoke.
Oh no.
And then he hands like Rey's lineage or whatever to or Rose, I think it is, hands Rose to
oh my god.
Abrams
I
again,
actually have
Abrams
a couple things to say about Rose. I actually have a couple things to say about Rose. But honestly, so like Rey, I'm gonna sit on this pedestal for a little bit, but like Rey is exactly like you said, she's a very, very strong character. She's a very strong character. She is also a female, so she's a very strong female, just like Leia in this series. Okay, the fact that Rey, man, it really kind of hurts me a little bit because like, just like you said, like there are little girls that really look up to Rey,
right.
And little boys, you can be whatever. You could be non-binary and look up to Rey, just because she's awesome.
Right.
She's a great role model. And then when you think about it that way, if you're looking up to Rey as a role model, imagine being a kid, love Rey, you dressed up as her for Halloween, you just like have little Rey plush dolls, and then you go and see episode 9 with your mom and dad, and you sit there and you're like, Mom, is she bad?
Right.
It's like, what did you just do to those poor little kids? You traumatized them. Like, I understand that you can be good and come from a bad family, just like you can be bad and come from a good family, Anakin Skywalker, or like Kylo.
Yeah,
like,
Kylo.
I understand that, but why did we need to taint that? Like, just leave her be a nobody and be a good person who, for once, doesn't have to be connected to somebody else. I feel like that's a big problem with the Star Wars community, like the fan base, is everybody needs to be connected to somebody else. You need to keep looking at people we already know. The Star Wars universe is so expanded. It's so huge. These people clearly have not read a Legends book to save their lives. Like, there's so much out there that can be explored. And why do we need to keep to this tiny little box? It just drives me crazy.
Well, yeah, who was it? I don't want to misquote anyone, but I feel like it was Kathleen said Star Wars has no source material.
Yeah.
Like what?
What?
What do you mean?
well, she might have said that because she's the one who decided to get rid of all the Legends books. Right. Or what are now Legends books.
Yeah.
So she might have said that at the very beginning when they haven't done all the canon books yet.
So I'm pulling it up just so I'm not talking out of my butt here, but here it is in November 21st, 2019. Kathleen Kennedy claims Star Wars films have no source material. But like, I get you have the Legends book. No source material.
Maybe what she's trying to say is okay, so this might be a little bit of a political statement. I don't know exactly what she's trying to say. I don't really know the exact context, but maybe what she's trying to say is that they're not pulling from the Legends, like stuff.
I get it.
Maybe they mean it in that context.
Here's the exact quote, just so I can put this out here. Every one of those movies is a particularly hard nut to crack. There's no source material. We don't have comic books. We don't have 800-page novels. We don't have anything other than passionate storytellers who get together and talk about what the next iteration might be. We go through a really normal development process like everyone does.
Okay, feels a little bit more like a political statement.
Yeah, I don't know. It just sucks because
I agree though.
To say that there's none, I don't know.
I think what she's choosing to say is there's none that they're pulling from,
right.
I think.
Right. But why not?
You can still say and then still do it, because that's clearly what they're doing anyways.
Also, I sent you a meme. I need you to look.
I looked at it. I was trying so hard not to laugh. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm just gonna end on this note for Rey.
Mm.
Should have kept her being a nobody.
Yep.
She could be a great role model. You know what? They even this hurts me because even at the end of The Last Jedi with the broom kid, which everybody lost their shit about. I don't understand why. It's a very Disney, like it's 100% like a Disney trope, I guess, where like he's coming from nowhere. He can be a Jedi. That was the whole like shadow part of it. He's not gonna be anybody to like the Star Wars universe, but like to us watching it, it's telling us that he can come from anywhere and be nobody and become somebody. That was like that whole hope thing.
Right.
Which is what, that's what Star Wars is based off of. The first movie is literally called A New Hope. Hello? Like it's in the essence of Star Wars. So why did we, that's exactly what Rey was. She was hope for the light side when the strongest light side family has ties to the dark side. They're constantly pulled back and forth between the two sides. I think it's just, I think we needed that. I think we needed somebody who's not part of the fucking Skywalker legacy.
I think what happened was...
You're like, your plot twist is that she comes from Palpatine.
Yeah. I think the problem with that was they were like, okay, so, you know, we need to wrap this up, but obviously you can tell they're going to do more, but they want to do it outside the regular canon. Cool. So now they have to call this the Skywalker Saga. So in order to call it the Skywalker Saga...
You have to,
you gotta wrap everyone all up into one tiny little family bow and throw it. Like,
well, that's what they always said. They always said, like, I don't remember if it's George Lucas or somebody said that this is a Skywalker Saga. Even if Rey doesn't fucking call herself Skywalker at the end, it's still a Skywalker Saga because guess what? Leia and Luke, Force Ghosts, they're still there.
Right.
We see them. Kylo Ren was a fucking Skywalker. He's gone, but he meant something to this plot line. We do not need to have Rey stand on a fucking desert planet, look at some random lady who shows up, perfect timing, by the way, to ask her who she is. Sorry, it's Tatooine. I don't know why I froze. We don't need her to stand on Tatooine looking at the old Skywalker ranch and have some lady come up to her and ask, who are you? First of all,
who says that?
Just came out of nowhere. Oh, by the way, I just met somebody today, but I asked them, who are you, by the way? Just no. And then for her to stand there, look off into the distance, see, this part really bothered me. Why is it just Luke and Leia?
Yeah.
Where is Kylo? He got redeemed. She kissed him, which means there were feelings there because she kissed him. It wasn't the other way around.
Right.
She kissed him. By the way, she also kissed him and then lost... And then had no reaction to it afterwards, after he died.
Yeah.
She was just like, I guess I'll move on. What? Again, this is why I think Rey was like super one-dimensional in this movie. Not her fault. Not Daisy Ridley's fault. I have a major girl crush on Daisy Ridley. Not her fault. Writer's fault. But then, I don't know why Kylo wasn't there. He should have 100% been there. Looks off to Luke and Leia and then turns back and says, I'm Rey Skywalker. Like, no, you're not. That part... So that was like the bad Disney part. Like I know there's positives and cons for like the Disney thing. That was 100%. It's just, it didn't make any sense. It literally felt like a meme. It was 100% a meme.
Oh,
and I've seen a bajillion memes on it.
It's all over TikTok right now. My favorite is, who are you, Rey Mysterio?
I've seen it. Oh my God. And the memes are hilarious, but like the scene itself, I actually laughed. I'm not even kidding. I laughed. She looks at them. She says, I'm Rey Skywalker. And I know they tried to like put some background on there to be like where Carrie Fisher Leia is like, oh, you know who you are, but that doesn't mean that's who you are. You know what I mean? Like just because you come from Palpatine doesn't mean you are the essence of a Palpatine. Like I get that. I like that. But why does she have to call herself Skywalker? She could just be Rey.
That's what I'm saying.
Like Ben.
So I get that you scrapped all the good symbolism in Last Jedi because you just thought that everyone hated that movie, so you scrapped it completely and you're basically starting over. But you already established that. You can't just retcon stuff. That was the beautiful. That was like they. So here's my thing: is they ruined Rey's storyline in this movie. They like quote unquote kind of saved Kylo in this movie and then ruined him personally for me. A lot of people were fine with what happened to Kylo, which is fine. But I want to leave that for the end. Do you have any other thoughts on Rey before I
put like a little. I have like a little side thing about Rose that I need to say.
Why the heck did we need, other than the trailer? Why did we need Sith Rey randomly there?
Because they just wanted to throw us for a loop. And then that same scene, which only lasts for a second, isn't a Force vision. Like, I literally own the Dark Side Rey Pop Funko. It's right there. Yeah. It's next to
So you're part of the problem. You're buying the merchandise. But it is dope. I mean, it is dope. I love that lightsaber concept. To have it split into two
It's because in my mind, I had this beautiful, because this movie's a fan fiction, so why can't I write one? In my mind, I had this beautiful plot developing of Rey going to the dark side for Kylo, and just the two of them living happily ever after on the dark side.
Coming soon to her fanfiction.net account. Stay tuned.
Yeah. Man, thank goodness I don't have that kind of time on my hands. Okay. Rose Tico. I did not like Rose, not because of the actress. I don't know why. First of all, this needs to be said. I don't know what's wrong with Star Wars fans, but don't go onto somebody's Instagram account and harass and say racist shit just because you don't like their character. What the fuck is wrong?
Like, you really think they can control that? Come on.
First of all,
like that was bad writing. That was not bad acting. It was bad writing. And yeah, I don't know.
Even past that, why are we harassing somebody and then getting into like their race about it? Just what kind of fans are we?
Sucks.
You're making us all look bad. You're terrible people.
To make a legitimate actor have to leave social media?
Like, I felt terrible for her. I legitimately was so embarrassed to be a Star Wars fan because of that. That was unacceptable. But like, okay, so here's my thing. There was so much shit said about Kelly Marie Tran.
Yep. Kelly Marie Tran.
Yeah, okay. Kelly Marie Tran. Wonderful actress. Great actress. Yeah. She did what she needed to in the movie. She played her character very well. I just don't think her character was written well. I think her character got shoehorned in to be a love interest for Finn because Finn and Rey's whatever was just... I have another problem with Finn, by the way. I've never liked Finn.
Yeah.
And it bothers me because he's the only black character in this trilogy, and it hurts me to say I never liked Finn. It's not because he's black. Hello, I'm black.
He's a very cardboard character. I feel like he's always been. No one's ever really known what to do with him. I love the concept of a First Order trooper turned resistance.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. But
then they didn't do anything with his character. His entire... And you know what? I saw somebody tweet about this, and I never thought about it this way. They on Twitter, there was this campaign, not a campaign, but there was like a little bit of a trend going on where Finn's entire storyline is pining over Rey,
right? Like
all 3 movies, for her to never even notice him, other than to like give him a hug when she's glad to see him.
Right.
It's just like he's pointless, writer wise. You to have him the entire 9th movie, all he did was yell Rey and where is Rey the entire time. He didn't do a single fucking thing. He was fucking
I couldn't even really tell you a scene other than him meeting up with the ex-troopers. That's the only thing I can really remember that he did. That's also a problem with this. You can't even. It was so not memorable, except for those some scenes that I liked. It was like,
you know what? And I know there was a campaign to have like Finpo be a ship. I could have seen it.
Yeah.
I would have been totally cool with it. At least they would have been doing something with Finn for him to get something out.
Or even, I feel like they did Poe dirty in this one too.
They did who dirty? I don't know what they did with all their secondary characters, but they didn't do shit.
Because they weren't a Skywalker.
Well, or Palpatine, apparently. Okay, so but Rose. So sad about Last Jedi with what happened to Rose. It feels like, and this may not be true, but this is what it feels like. I read in in a couple articles actually that because Rose is like nowhere in this movie. She's in the background in like 2 or 3
she has like what, 2
for,
lines?
Like, split second. I think she has just enough lines to be mentioned in the scroll, and that's about it. But I read a couple articles with Torinos or Abrams, I don't remember, or somebody in that group, that said that they had a lot more scenes with Rose in it, and they were the same scenes that Leia was in. So there was actually a lot more scenes that had to do with Leia and Rose at the base, like doing planning and tactical planning and all that stuff, which I feel like they 100% should put in there, but they said that it just didn't fit well into the story, which also doesn't make sense to me, because had you put those scenes in there, you would have been doing two things, or possibly three. One, you would have been giving Leia more scenes in the movie. You shot all those. Those are the last scenes we have of her in Star Wars. Right. Make them fit. Please, make them fit. You made other stupid shit fit. Right. You can make that fit. And then, two, you would have had Rose in there. And it wouldn't have looked like you sidelined Rose just to appease the racist piece of shits that didn't like her for Lord knows what reason. That's really bothering.
Because the thing is, the thing about this new Star Wars in general, it's been a very diverse cast, which has been awesome, and it's something that Star Wars needed for sure. But if you're just completely, because of people's reaction to her character, and then like almost completely cutting her out of this movie, then you're part of the problem. You
are.
So are you really trying to do diversity? Or are you? That's a whole
putting more gas
thing
on the flames right now.
Like,
they did her wrong. I'd say they did Finn wrong, but they didn't do Finn right from the beginning. Finn's just
they just never knew what to do. There's so many characters. Like,
well, like there are, but there aren't too. I mean, I know that in the original trilogy they only had 3 characters. Right. That was it. Right. In this one they have 2 main characters, and then like 2 half characters if you count Luke and Leia, and then they have 3 secondary characters. That sounds like a lot, but you can put them, you can mix them together into scenes.
They just didn't know how to do
what I mean? I like the adventures of Rey, Poe, and Finn. I liked that. It felt like the original trilogy. That's what it felt like, and I kind of loved that feeling. But they didn't do anything with Poe and Finn, and I am like a huge oh my god, I love Poe. I really, really do. I loved Poe in episode 8.
I was just gonna say, that was his best, I think.
But his storyline just made so much sense. Coming from an aviation background, and like a military background, like everybody said Poe. First of all, I know everybody gave Haldo a lot of shit too. But I have a beautiful thing to say about her for another episode when we talk about Last Jedi. But the thing about Poe that I loved, which was completely filled out by episode 8, was that he is a natural born leader, but not necessarily a good one. Right. He's still learning to become a good leader. Like, he has people follow him, people that believe in him, but he really fucked up in that battle in episode 8. He got most of his people killed. This shit happens. That felt very real to me, and I really liked that because he felt like a real character. Like, outside of Star Wars, he felt like a very real character. Right. Like somebody you'd see, or like I've seen a billion times in the Pacific or Band of Brothers. It just felt very real. And then we didn't do anything with him in episode 9. You set him up so beautifully in episode 8 to become this natural born leader. But why didn't we finish that process in episode 9 by actually Leia passes away and she like hands him the torch for him to become the general or the leader of the rebellion. That was left unturned.
All right, you want to end with Kylo? No, I mean I got the same sort of things. Yeah, I loved that freaking scene with I'll hold for Hux. Small guy, kind of tasty.
Poor Hux. They did him dirty. Is there anybody they didn't do dirty? Because like Hux, Hux was such a cool character. I loved Hux. Like, Hux was like a real he was like a real Empire officer. Like, he will do what he needs to do to get what he wants. But I don't understand why. I think it was Jenny Nicholson, whose videos on Star Wars, I've watched all of her videos like a dozen times. They're fantastic. She does a really, really great video review on this movie on T-Ross. And she said, Hux, like, this entire time, he's very, very, like, a strong presence in the First Order, very, very powerful. Right. He hates Kylo Ren, which was really, really cool, that butting of heads between them.
Yeah, because he can't do anything because he can just force him.
Yeah, exactly. But it was very parallel slash kind of backwards to the relationship between Tarkin and Vader in the original trilogy. Which, by the way, if you read the book Tarkin,
Yeah.
Which is canon,
That
that's also a really good
okay.
book. It fills him out quite nicely, and his background is really cool. But I felt that kind of relationship between the two of them, except with a little bit of a twist. They don't get along in this one. But then I don't understand. Hux, all of his faith goes into the First Order. So why would he go against the First Order just to get back at Kylo Ren?
Right.
And then they just kill him. Because why not? He's a Weasley. Just kill all the Weasleys.
Right.
It's fine.
And then it's just yeah. And then just have this random other, oh yeah, he's been a vice admiral the whole time.
Yeah, he just comes out of nowhere. If you had said, like, he came from a different ship, you know, and they've been doing this and that, I would have bought that, but they didn't say anything about him. There's just some, like, other, whatever. Anyways, okay, so Kylo. Okay. I love Kylo Ren.
Really? I didn't know that. That's news about you, huh?
I have a Kylo Ren.
I never would have
been right here.
Never would a million years would have thought you'd liked Kylo, huh? That's news.
There's a 10-inch pop of him right there. I've got plenty of shirts with his face.
I got my little Kylo.
Kylo Ren is my. Oh, he's cute. I have the little one too. Does he light up?
No.
Actually, I have the light up version of him.
Yeah, you would. I want to get the light up Vader when that comes out. The problem is his lightsaber is like bended on mine, so.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I know. Okay. No, same here though. So I'm Kylo Ren is my favorite character from this trilogy. From this trilogy. Leia probably overall is my favorite, but Kylo Ren is my favorite because he felt like a real character. Like I said, he grew up in this trilogy, not like age wise, but like maturity wise. He went from being like a teen who's just pissed off at everything and just wants to like kill things to going through this like real conflict in episode 8 with his family. You know, he's going against his uncle in episode 8 who he quote unquote hates,
right.
But he's still dealing with this conflict between the dark side and the light side all the way through all three of these movies. You think he's struggling with wanting to be on the dark side to follow Vader, but he's still being pulled to the light side in episode 7. Then we get to and then he kills his dad, which I agree with you. I think that made him irredeemable. Right. So they pull him into episode 8. He's pretty deep into the dark side right now.
Yeah.
He kills Snoke, which makes him literally the definition of a Sith.
The rule of two.
You're a master, exactly. That kind of that's the definition of a Sith. So now he's supreme leader, very deep in the dark side. We get into episode 9. By the way, he was still feeling the pull to the light side the entire in episode 8 right. When he like couldn't shoot at Leia. Like I felt that it was still there, which is fine. That was perfectly fine. Vader clearly felt some pulls to the light side when he was still on the dark side. Right. That makes perfect sense. It makes sense just like the other way around. Like a light sider can feel a pull to the dark side. Fine. Then we get to episode 9. He's still very deep in the dark side. I won't talk anymore about how he got redeemed because I don't want to talk about it anymore because it doesn't make any sense. He has this beautiful progression. He gets redeemed. He has somehow cultivated this relationship with Rey, which, like I said, I think that relationship felt very real to me. I know a lot of people think it was BS. They don't like Reylo, or they think it was forced. I don't think it was forced. They clearly had something going on in episode 8. They wanted to pull the other person to their own side. Right. Like I don't know how that doesn't it just made sense to me. It just felt real. She wants him to be on the light side. Calls him Ben. There's clearly like sexual tension there. Hello, if it wasn't obvious, he's shirtless in the scene. Come on now.
Well,
you can't look at him. I mean,
pants,
come on.
Kinda.
Oh, they're high-waisted pants. It's fine. But like their relationship felt good to me. It felt right. She's kind of the reason he gets redeemed, if you really think about it, because she saved his life. And then he turns to the, by the way, I don't know where he was between him dying and then getting revived and then him eventually getting to Exegol, but whatever.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
I love how he like got rid of the uniform then was just running around in a linen black shirt. I wasn't drooling at all. He shows up on Exegol.
And the shrug. I know you liked the shrug. With the
I mean, I think it fit. I thought it was funny, but not like in a cheesy funny way. It was like we were seeing the whole other personality, like the light side personality of Ben, you know, which it might be a little bit confusing, but like Anakin, he had like a light side and like a dark side personality. Obviously, you only see more of the dark side because he's a whiny little bitch. But I'm kidding. I mean, I'm not really.
No,
but hey, I love Anakin too. Okay, I was a huge Darth Vader fan until Kylo came into my life. But so he gets redeemed. He's running on Exegol to help Rey fight Palpatine, which I don't. He's going to help the female that maybe he loves. Maybe I don't know. Like that makes sense. Why the fuck else would he go to Exegol if he's on the light side, right?
She needs a hero.
Yeah, I need a hero. She's also kind of her own hero,
no, I was just doing it for the song. I can't not. Every time I see that scene in my head, I just hear that song now. I can't stop.
I'm trying not to on purpose. He kills his own guys. He kills his own entourage of people to go help Rey. Like, think about it this way. I don't think he's going there to kill Palpatine. I think he's going there to help Rey. And I think that's pretty obvious. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he kills all them. By the way, the scene where the lightsaber shows up, I know like everybody loved that scene, but like I 100% geeked out when that happened. Yeah. It was probably the sickest scene ever. And he goes all the way to help out Rey. And like this is the part that made me want to cry. Skip the fight with Palpatine.
Okay, skipped.
He crawls out of the hole. Okay. Yeah. He just miraculously was gone for that fight. Whatever. He crawls out of this hole and like drags himself over to her because he loves her. Hello, is that not obvious, people? I don't know where they don't have any chemistry. You're a fucking idiot. He crawls over to her and holds her like, oh my god, the girl that I love is dying or is dead. What the fuck do I do? He brings her back from the dead. This is what happens. This is the fact. He brings her back from the dead, and it kills him. If that isn't the definition of loving somebody, I don't know what the fuck is.
Ironic. He could save others from death, but not himself.
Which, this is the part where I get angry. This is the part where I get angry. What is the point? Like, honestly, what? I'm very, very serious, because this really bothers me, angers me, upsets me, doesn't make any sense, all of the above. What is the point of redeeming Ben Solo just for him to die?
What is the point of redeeming Anakin Skywalker just for him to die? I don't know. I mean, that part kind of made sense to me. Because you...
See, and I don't think you're alone, which I like hearing that opinion, but I feel like I clash with it very, very much.
Yeah, no, I mean, here's the thing. It's like we said, he's irredeemable, so I don't know. You couldn't... He can't be a Jedi. They're never gonna take him. Think of how many thousands of his people he killed.
But hang on a second. Rey's not a Jedi. I feel like at this point they've gotten rid of the structure that is the Jedi or Sith.
But you know what I mean.
Those things don't exist.
Yeah, I agree. I mean more so him being a good guy, quote, whatever they're calling, in the Resistance or anything like that.
He could have just been a fucking gray Jedi. Like, I've been wanting one of those from the beginning of time, and we haven't had one. Why couldn't he be the guy who couldn't get fully redeemed but can still do good things?
Yeah. I would have, if you had gone the gray Jedi line, like an anti-hero type thing, I think I would have been okay with that. Yeah. But, I mean, they had to wrap it up. I get it. There really wasn't, I didn't see it ending any other way. I didn't. But so I mean, I'm with you for sure. I definitely would have liked to see more of him. I think, Great Jedi Kylo would have been dope. Even if you did that in like cartoon form or you did it in comic book form down the road or something like that, that would have been dope.
They actually just came out with a Kylo Ren new line of comics I need to find, but they keep getting sold out. So
yeah, of course,
I'm buying those. I've heard the argument that like he needed to die to bring bring balance to the Force, but if you think about it, with him being dead, Palpatine being dead, Leia being dead, Luke being dead, Rey is the only like really, really force sensitive person that currently is living on this world.
Besides Finn, but they never got to that.
Ugh. Ray, I need to tell you something. I love how in J.J. Abrams' article, he says, oh, he just wanted to tell her that he's force sensitive. No, that's not what he wanted to tell her. Oh, that's stupid. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Oh, by the way, I want to yell at you in the middle of me dying, Ray, that I'm force sensitive. No. Oh my God. Yeah. Your entire plotline is that you love her and it doesn't mean anything. We get it. Back off. She's Kylo's. Okay. No, but my voice just totally broke. I totally lost my train of thought.
Well, I mean,
oh no, like I guess their argument was that they need to bring balance to Force, but with Rey being the only person alive, there's not balance to the Force, yep. Right? So had you kept Kylo alive, made him a gray Jedi, there's at least some pull to the dark side. I mean, like, I know it'd be weird to end a series with like a Jedi couple. Would have been very like Disney princess, but you know what? I grew up with Disney princesses. What's wrong with that?
Even if you had just left it open where he just disappears, right?
But why? But why? Why does he need to die? I don't think he needs to die. I think you can work it. Yeah. I think it can work with him not dying. He saves her. Like there's this. By the way, also, how come Rey actually? How come Rey can save Kylo without dying, but Kylo can't save Rey?
Right.
Whatever.
Right.
Anyways.
Yep.
Nope. Whatever. We'll just not look at that.
All right. Don't worry about it.
I
Makes
think
more sense if you don't think about it.
Could have done. Yeah, exactly. Like this entire movie. And I guess if you look back, this entire trilogy. Why can't we just have him? I really actually love the idea of him being a gray Jedi because all of his power, like 90% of his power comes from the dark side. Yeah. But I mean, if you want to stay authentic to this movie, Leia, quote unquote, helps redeem him, and so does Rey. And they're both, I guess you could call them family. Obviously, Leia is. She's like the only family he had still alive at the time. So I think it would have been more sense, and it would have been cool. You can end it on a happy note without it being like a fake happy note. I feel like the way how they ended this movie was like a fake happy note. Like Rey just kissed the guy she loves, I'm hoping, but I can't tell because she had no emotions in this entire fucking movie. Just, again, one-dimensional Rey, not a fan. And then she just goes back to the moon with the rest of the rebellion and just celebrates, but she has no emotions about what happened. Yep. By the way, a lot of people complained about how 2 females kissed in this movie, but no 2 males kissed. Right. And I was laughing because I also saw a tweet right after that says, that's not true. A dude hugged a dude alien. And I'm like, I was like, clearly there's not social acceptance for the both of them. Let me just, I thought that was hilarious. I would have loved Finpo. Finpo could have had a bro moment.
I'm surprised.
Whatever. I mean, I would have. Man, I think it would have.
I don't know. I feel like there's so many different things. It's like I can just see the boardrooms. They're just all screaming at each other on what they want to happen, and nobody can decide, and it's just a mess.
No, you know what it's probably like? It's probably like they have a dartboard at the end of the room with different things on it. Like Palpatine comes back, Finpo, and Kylo gets redeemed, and just from the other side of the room, they're just throwing darts at it to see what sticks, literally. And they're like, "Oh, okay, I guess Palpatine's coming back."
Rolling D20s.
Finpo, nobody hit that one.
All right, Abrams, you want to add Rey as the Palpatine? Let's roll for initiative. Oh, that is a perfect 20. Yeah, I hate to see it.
Oh my goodness. All right, let's wrap it up.
I was gonna say we're at an hour and a half right now.
Yeah, I mean, I've done like 2.5 long ones.
I don't know what your things are.
Okay, do you have? Okay, let's give me your final thoughts on Rise of Skywalker. Let's wrap it up.
Fun.
And then give me a rating out of 10. By the way, rating out of 10.
All right. Shoot. All right. I had fun.
Yep.
I had fun. It was a fun movie because I came with it at that expectation. I had purposely not been tearing it apart. I've been just trying to leave it to enjoy myself. But I don't fun movie. That part's still there. I had fun because I was with my friends. I went out with another friend, and I stayed at his house afterwards, and he'd never seen Star Wars like ever, so that's a whole
Oh,
nother thing.
cool. I mean, not cool that he's never seen
Correct.
it, but cool that he went.
Yeah, so
Nice.
I had a fun time. I had a blast. The whole movie theater to yourself with like 90% of my coworkers. Like, who wouldn't have fun there? Like, whatever. The dude next to me, we're drinking out of a flask. Like, it's just it was a fun time.
Nice. Okay.
Movie wise, yeah, there was some issues. I feel like I've said everything I need to say about how I felt about it. I liked Palpatine, but definitely shouldn't have been in this. Yeah. So all right. So number wise, is the rating based on quality of movie?
Let's go. We can do two. Let's do one based off quality movie and one based off how much you liked it.
All right. 4.
Okay. For which one?
For quality. Sorry. Yeah. Quality for 4. Gotcha. I don't know. Let's just do 4 for both. Because honestly, I don't know. I don't know if I liked it. I don't know. All I know is I had fun. So I'm going to give it a 4. I'm sticking with my guns on that. Yeah. I just had fun with it.
All right.
Even because you can have fun with a bad movie. I had fun with The Room.
I agree.
So
I 100% agree.
Yeah. All right. I'm sticking with my guns on 4.
Okay. Me. I already said this movie made me disappointed and upset and angry. I feel like there's not really much more than needs to be said there. It was a real disappointment. You know how everybody complained about the series ending or the series finale of Game of Thrones was the biggest disappointment in all of human history. I didn't feel that way about Game of Thrones, but that's how I felt about this movie in particular. I don't want to say ruined Star Wars for me, but it really put a damper on this trilogy, which is very unfortunate because the exact opposite of you, I went into this movie loving episodes 7 and 8, and I was very excited. I was so excited to see this movie, and the trailers looked so good. You know, I was like, oh, they can't fuck this up. Like, I'm not going in with expectations, but I'm going in here to know. I literally went into this movie knowing I was gonna love it. Like, I didn't go in.
That's why I was shocked. Great. Like, I know what they did with Kylo and all that. I was shocked that you had such strong feelings, but I think it's exactly, if you come in expecting it to be good, I feel like everyone I've talked to that have come in with expectation that's going to be good have been disappointed, and anyone that's just come in with expectation that it's has come out on the other side.
This is where I'll disagree with you, because even if I'd gone in that movie knowing it was gonna be terrible, like all of my friends who hated the ones before that I went with, they all went into it knowing it was gonna be terrible, and they still hated it. So I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. Like, it's fair. I think it's person by person, which is fair. But it's just it was a real disappointment for me, and it is very upsetting that they had to end this saga with such a, in my opinion, a very, very bad movie, let alone a very bad Star Wars movie. So for me, quality, honestly, if I'm just looking at the movie as a whole, like taking out the fact that it's Star Wars and I'm looking at it versus like with its continuity between the three of them, it's still pretty bad. I would give it maybe like a 3 quality wise.
That's what I figured you'd go.
Yeah, it just, I mean, like if you went into this movie and just saw this movie and was like, and he was told it's a sci-fi movie and you haven't seen the 2 before, like, definitely would be higher, because it doesn't have that need to be Star Wars feel.
Right.
Whatever. How much I liked it, I'm gonna put it at a 2.5, and even that feels high. I'll put it at a 2. This is why. Even Reylo couldn't save this movie for me. That's how bad it was. Even all the scenes they had with Kylo Ren in it, which for me were the only parts where I felt really happy.
Right.
And the part where they kissed, that's the only part that made me not leave this movie. Even all the scenes of Kylo and me finally getting Reylo couldn't have saved this fucking movie.
Right.
That's how bad it was for me. So I'm sticking with those numbers. Yes. So this is going to be our new podcast coming out on Mondays at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. So you can listen to us on the way to and from work or at work if you don't want to work. I totally get that. where can they find us social media wise podcast?
You can find us at KOM. That's KOM Knights of Mustafar podcast at is it pod or podcast? No, it's podcast.
Podcast.
Professionalism. At KOM Podcast on Twitter, KOM Podcast on Instagram. You can also write in the show at kompodcast@gmail.com if you have any questions or anything you want to add on stuff like that.
Or yell at us.
Or yell at us.
I'm sure that's going to happen too. We also have a website that is currently in the works. That's going to be KOM-podcast.tumblr.com. Yes, it's on Tumblr. I like Tumblr. It's working. Cool. And then for our personal social media, you can find me on Twitter at Darth Honor. You can find me on Instagram, Darth.Honor. You can find me on Mixer at mixer.com/Darth Honor. You can follow me on Origin, I guess, Darth Honor.
Yeah, if you want to see her play The Sims every 5 minutes and blow up your computer notifications.
Listen, I've been on a binge. I don't want to talk about it. I don't have the internet, so I don't know what you want from me. And then last but not least, you can find this podcast on two channels, on two YouTube channels. You can find it on my YouTube channel, which is going to be Darth Honor, and then Panda. So Panda, why don't you give us your social media?
Yeah, I am Twitter at Dr_Panda. I am Instagram at DocPanda PhD, DOC Panda PhD. Mixer.com/Dr. Panda PhD. I stream during the weeks. If you're watching this as of the week of the 20th, my next stream is Tuesday. One thing you actually told me to do was my YouTube channel, which is Dr. Panda PhD. And we should have links for all these in like the show notes and the bios and the descriptions and all that stuff too.
Absolutely. And then you'll be able to find this podcast on
iTunes, Spotify, Google, Pod Muffin, if that's a thing.
It is?
I don't know. You can probably find it on Podmuffin. Can you find it on Podmuffin? I don't know. Wherever you get your podcasts, it's there. Ask your clergy, tell your family members, tell your loved ones. That's where it is. Tell your dog. He's really interested.
My dog's interested.
Okay.